Ready? Press the freeze button. Okay, whenever you're ready.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are AdJAR Communications, which consists of myself, Dave, Amin, and Jess, and we're going to be presenting our one-year communications plan. Now, Amin is going to start with explaining our communications objectives.
Okay, so our first objective is to utilise and develop all our social networking sites that are current and existing and develop new ones. This will be in order to create awareness and also to increase our visitor numbers to an estimate of 50,000 people by the end of the campaign. The second one is to create a memorable strapline that will help us interact with our visitors. Thirdly, we would like to increase our social network site followers to up to around 20,000. This will be done hopefully within the first 6 months. And finally, we would like 15% of our visitors to position us higher than our competitors on the basis of nostalgia and individuality. Taking these into consideration, we'll be targeting these at the following target markets. So firstly, we have families. This will be families with an average of 2 adults and 2 children. They enjoy family activities which involve educating their children. With the higher educational students, these will be students aged between 18 and 25. They will be individuals that lead an active and social lifestyle. They are the heaviest users of the internet, using it on average of 4.8 hours a day. We also have primary school children. These will be children aged up to the age of 11. They enjoy creative activities, watching TV and playing online games. We also have overseas and overseas HE students. These are the individuals aged between 18 and 30. These will mostly be visitors from around Europe who are frequent travellers. They like visiting the UK to visit our top attractions and in particular museums to learn about our British history. And finally we have senior citizens aged from 70 and over. These will be individuals from the local community who enjoy social activities and attending arts and crafts programs. They enjoy visiting museums to kind of celebrate their own history, and also taking all these target markets into consideration, we have come up with the following creative strategies.
So to start with, we wanted to create the image of the museum as being educational and also to create a nostalgic experience to pull visitors' emotions. And as you can see, our strapline for the museum is "We know brands, do you?" And we chose this strapline because it's short, it's interactive and it's memorable. So if you have a look in the handouts that we've given you, you can see some of our prototypes that we made for
our communications activities.
Yeah, and having this in mind, you can also see the strapline going through the prototypes. And on our YouTube channel, we have made a mixtures of movies which include from the inside of the museum to from the manager to customer reviews. So we're now going to show you a film that we made
I went to
for
the
customer
museum in France, and it was cool to see this old packaging of Coca-Cola. And I was excited to see this Rubik's Cube because we have in Japan. And I've got this patch from the museum and this pencil. It was really cool. Thank you.
So now I'm going to pass it over to David.
Thank you. Right, our recommendations have been set in order to meet our future objectives and to be within our £10,000 budget. Social media is used by the museum via Facebook, Twitter and TripAdvisor. We feel that they should also use YouTube and Tumblr in order to increase their social following. Posts should be frequent and posted before noon or after 6 p.m. as these are times that are more convenient. Competitions and interactive posts should be used in order to trigger responses. As Facebook is the most popular social networking site, we've chosen to advertise on them. Then moving on, we'll make use of our visitors using street teams that will position themselves down Portobello Road. They'll be in personalised uniforms and encourage passers-by to visit the museum. They'll hand out free balloons with the museum's branding on it, and when people take them and are walking around, it will work as free advertising. Volunteers and workers will also visit schools and put on free workshops, and in return they'll ask to leave leaflets and then ask to have a link on the school website and school newsletters. It will also mean that children that haven't had the chance to visit the museum may go home and ask their parents to take them. Furthermore, big bus tours will be paid to recommend the museum. The museum is only just a short walk from the Notting Hill stop, and visitors may choose to visit the museum in their time there.
One of the main issues for the museum is visibility and location. Many people review the museum saying it's a hidden gem, so to tackle that, we plan to relocate the signpost to Portobello Road, where there's much more footfall, and we'll place leaflets in nearby hotspots such as local tube stations like Ladbroke Grove and Notting Hill, and these will be placed near the map, so this could increase our overseas visitors. And an advertisement will air on a West London radio station called Westside FM. This serves the multicultural community, offering music and local information. And we'll place an advertisement in the Metro newspaper, which has a readership of 2 million people in London. And we'll have a mobile phone application that is free to download, which will include interactive games and more visitor information.
And lastly, other recommendations include car magnets, free local family vouchers that can be used during off-peak times, promotions during less busy periods, translated worksheets for overseas visitors, and partnerships with other museums. So examples they can do like combined prices to entice potential visitors. All of our recommendations are well within our £10,000 budget, and I'll now pass it to Jessica, who will speak about evaluations.
Thank you. For pre-campaign evaluation, this involves the testing of the individual messages you want to put across to our audience. So a focus group will be carried out in order to get feedback and possible improvements on our sample adverts for Facebook and the Metro newspaper, and the storyboard for the Westside FM, and leaflets being placed in the train station. And this will be done to see if our main message has been communicated effectively to each of our target markets. And for post-campaign evaluation, this part of the evaluation process is to ensure that our objectives set have now been met and the strategy was effective in the time set. So in order to measure awareness, visitors' attitudes and preferences, questionnaires and surveys will be used to voice visitor opinions and record whether social media was their reason for hearing about the museum to see if it increased from the previous 1%. Also, another focus group we conducted to see if the logo and strapline is recognised amongst a representative sample. And perceptual positioning maps will also be given to the focus group to see if they place the museum above all competitors on the basis of nostalgia and individuality. And SNS engagement will be tracked by the daily post rate, and a comparison of combined followers prior to the campaign will be compared to the combined followers after the campaign to see if we reached our combined target of 20,000 followers. And sales revenue and sales volume will be tracked over the 12-month period to calculate the actual unit of sales made, as well as the actual amount of cash and credit sales made. And this will be able to show whether we reached our objective of reaching 50,000 visitors from the current 35,000, which was set previously. And this concludes our presentation. So thank you for listening. And are there any questions?
Does anyone have any questions? You're obliged to ask questions, or indeed answer them. No, I'd just like to say thank you very much. A very well-practiced presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm just going to take some time to make a few more notes.